Hi, it's Elise here at Bowman Library in our teen section with a whole new teen book spotlight. So, it is the first week of April, and guess what that means, in case you don't know? That means it's National Library Week. That's right, there's a whole week out there that's dedicated to celebrating libraries and librarians and books and everything that we love about this place. So we use that this week for our inspiration for our book talks, and that means all the books we're going to take a look at have something to do with either books or libraries or librarians, or maybe even a little bit of some bookstore stuff, because why not? If we love it here, we should love reading about totally different and unique libraries, right? So let's get started. So our first one is called The Archive. So in this thriller, the afterlife is basically like a library. There's histories of the dead, and they are stored in a place that is called the archive. And there are librarians in this archive that are called keepers. And it is the job of the keepers to make sure that the spirits stay there even after they wake. Mackenzie's father was a keeper, but when he passes away, it now is become her responsibility. When one spirit gets away, things get complicated, and it's up to Mackenzie to figure out what is going on. And then more and more spirits are let loose, and then they start to figure out someone is actually intentionally doing this. There's another keeper that is not doing their job. If anything, they have no idea what is actually going on. This mysterious thriller is one that will keep you guessing at every turn as you go on this adventure with Mackenzie and some of the friends she meets along the way. This is the first in a series. This is The Archived. The Grimm Legacy. So Elizabeth is having a hard time fitting in with her new stepfamily and classmates, but she soon finds her place because she's hired to work at the New York Circulating Material Repository. This library is special, though, as it houses and loans out very rare items. And there's a special room in the basement that is known as the Grimm Collection, which is filled with magical objects from various Grimm fairy tales. Things start to go awry, though, when the items start to go missing and other employees disappear, and it's going to be up to Elizabeth and her fellow employees to figure out what exactly is happening. Filled with magic, fantasy, adventure, mystery, humor. If you love fairy tales and you will love this new and exciting take, this is the first book in a series. This is The Grimm Legacy. The Fault in Our Stars. So even if you've seen the movie, read the book. So life is not fair for Hazel. She's dealing with cancer. When she goes to her support group, which she really hates actually going there, it is there that she meets Gus, who is also in the same boat that she's in. As their relationship grows, Hazel is also determined to find out what happens to the characters at the end of her favorite novel, and she actually starts to carry out this email relationship with the author. As Gus sees how important this is for Hazel, he uses his one wish to have both him and Hazel go to Amsterdam to meet this author, but things do not go as planned. Hazel and Gus, though, grow closer than ever, and the two learn about life, love, and loss in ways that they never imagined or predicted. This heartbreakingly real novel is one that you will want to read more than one time. This is The Fault in Our Stars. Evil Librarian. So things are going well for Cynthia. She has an amazing best friend named Annie. She has a crush on her classmate Ryan, and she is directing all the technical aspects of the school musical. Things will start to get a little weird, though, when Annie, who's never really been interested in anyone before, kind of falls in love with the new school librarian named Mr. Gabriel. And soon Cynthia starts to realize that Annie's not the only one who is acting weird around this guy. So Cynthia decides that she's going to do some investigating, and she soon learns that Mr. Gabriel is actually a demon who is on Earth to get the power he needs to take over the throne back home. And not only does he want to do all that, but then he wants to take Annie with him to be his human consort. Deciding she needs to save her best friend, she enlists Ryan's help, and the two of them decide to take on Mr. Gabriel. This is the first in a series that's filled with dark humor, friendship, adventure, maybe a little bit of horror depending on your tolerance of evil spirits. Evil Librarian. The Reader. This is the book 1 in the Sea of Ink and Gold trilogy. So good. So when she was younger, Sephia found her father brutally murdered, and as she escaped, she made sure to take this book with her, and it's filled with these intricate symbols. It was the one thing her father always told her, if something were to happen to him, she needed to take this book with her. But she never really understood why, because where Sephia lives, reading and writing, it's illegal in her kingdom, and she soon then finds herself that she's being hunted by the people who killed her father, because there's something about this book. So at age 15, she finds herself again still being hunted by these people, and she's living with her Aunt Nin, and they're not very careful one day. They slip up for one day, and these people find out where they are. They capture her Aunt Nin, and Sephia decides that she needs to go save her because she owes her life to her aunt. So she sets out on this mission, and with help from a mute boy she saves along the way, Sephia soon starts to realize what is so important about this book that she has in her possession. And she will then need to do more than what she ever dreamed possible in order to keep not only the book safe, but also herself. This first in a trilogy, if you love fantasy, mythology, adventure, and a strong female character, you will totally love this inventive series. This is The Reader. And our last one is The Words in Deep Blue. So when her little brother Cal drowns, Rachel's world is turned upside down and everything changes. To help her through this time, her family decides that the best thing to do would be to send her back to their hometown to live with her aunt. But that's kind of filled with its own issues, because that means Rachel's going to have to see her ex-best friend Henry all the time. Yeah, before they left, she professed her love for Henry, and he just never kind of responded or reciprocated, and kind of making things extremely awkward. Henry's family owns a beloved bookstore, and Rachel soon finds herself working there when she returns, and it kind of makes a tenuous restart to her friendship with Henry, since he's there all the time as well. The bookstore, which unfortunately is for sale, contains all these books that people have filled with letters and notes that they've left for strangers and friends alike. And as she starts to read these notes that people have left behind, Rachel soon starts to face her grief head on and decides who she really wants to become. If you're looking for a book that's filled with philosophy, relationship thinkers, and exploring misconnections, then this is one you would want to check out. This is Words in Deep Blue. So these are just 6 of the books that we have here that are going to help us celebrate National Library Week. As they deal with everything books, libraries, librarians, all sorts of stuff. But we have tons more here. So if you need help finding that perfect book, feel free to come on by and we will help you do that. I hope you have a great week, and I hope you tune back next week when we have a whole new teen book spotlight.